What's going on, everyone? My name's Eric, and today on the channel we have this Jackson 7-string here, has a Floyd Rose, has EMG pickups, and yeah, it's all black, it's pretty metal, it's pretty sweet. I wish I had a reverse inline 7, but that's for another time. The whole point of this is that this is a friend of mine's backup guitar, and he asked me to work on it for him. And there's a few things that I noticed about this guitar in general, and just kind of backup guitars in general. Usually, for the most part, backup guitars kind of take the back seat, obviously, and they're there to come in handy when the number one goes down and everything like that. Obviously, as a backup guitar is titled, but sometimes when you don't play a backup guitar for a while, things just kind of go on them, which is a total normal thing of not playing a guitar for a while. Certain things will kind of go. So what you're going to learn in this video is how to maintain a guitar that's been sitting for just a little while here, and just general maintenance tips that I take in upon myself when I'm fixing backup guitars or when I'm fixing guitars that have just been sitting for just a while. So without further ado, let's go right into this. Alright, now first things first, as soon as you get a guitar that's been sitting for a while, or you get a used guitar and you want to make sure everything's good on it, the first thing you want to do is just plug it in and make sure the electronics are good, because that's an easy diagnosis. What you want to do, plug right into the clean side of an amp or clean side of a plug-in that you're using here, and just strum the guitar. Toggle switch works and everything, that's good. Now, I'm not sure if you were able to hear that as well as I can hear it in the room here, but the volume pot is a little scratchy and the tone pot is a little scratchy as well, so that's an easy fix. You don't have to replace a pot. I'm going to show you how you fix the volume pot and the tone pot if they're scratchy like that, and as well as maintaining the rest of this guitar. So let's get it on the bench and let's fix this. Now we're going to string the guitar up, and this is a 7-string, so obviously we're going to need 7-string for this one. So we're going to be using this 10 to 46 pack here, and then we're going to be using a bass string here. Now obviously you don't have to restring your 7-string or your 8-string like this anymore. There's 7 and 8-string and 9-string packs right from the factory, but if you are in this case, this part is going to be for you if you are using a big single string like this, even if it is a bass string. The 6-string side of your extended range guitar is going to be very easy, but the 7, 8, or 9th string is going to be a little bit of a problem, especially if you have a Floyd Rose. So let's get right into this and I'll show you how I figure all this out. Alright, so here we are at the headstock of the guitar, and we're going to feed the 7th string through. And you can see this is the tapered end, and it will eventually get thicker right up around here. Hard to see on camera, but you will see in just a sec where the issue lies with using thicker strings on your guitar. This is the tapered end going through. And then the actual part of the string, the one that you're going to play, gets stuck right here. So you have a couple different options here, especially with a Floyd Rose. Usually what I do is that I'll go ahead and drill out the tuner right here, like this where the string is going to sit. I'll usually drill that out with a little bit of a drill, just so the actual wound part of the string and the non-tapered side can actually go through it with ease. Or you can go back to the bridge and then use the tapered end and feed it into the Floyd Rose there. And then eventually you will have to then drill out again to have the wound part of the string sit in the tuner peg. So no matter what you're going to have to do, you're essentially going to have to drill, unless you can get away by using a string that has a bit of a longer taper, so then you can get away with not having to drill out the tuner there. Otherwise, That's kind of what you do when you're dealing with extended range guitars and big old strings that don't have a long enough taper. So as you can see, the 70 gauge string is actually fitting in the Floyd Rose saddle here. Sometimes you'll get lucky and that will happen. I cut the ball end of the string off just to see if it will fit in here, and yes, it will fit in here. The only issue is sometimes that the string might sit a little too high out of the groove here where the string is going to sit and guide out of the Floyd Rose saddle. So you might run into a bit of height issues there, especially adjusting the action, because the Floyd Rose is only adjustable from the 2 points on either side of the bridge, so that might give you some issues. But otherwise, if it doesn't, you can definitely use this and get away with cutting the ball end of the string and just feeding into the bottom here. Then just going and stringing up the guitar as normal. All right, and here we have this Jackson Archtop Soloist 7-string all finally done up here, and it just looks so much better after a little bit of TLC went into this thing. And just as a quick reminder, these are basic things that you can do to get your backup guitar playing and feeling just as great as your main guitar did. And there's one thing that I forgot to mention, is that I actually had to change all of the saddles on the Floyd Rose, which you're going to see why on screen right now. A lot of the strings were actually mismatched in height, and a lot of these saddles were actually in the wrong spot, or they were actually just stripped out. The back screws here were kind of stripped, and it just seemed like they were just smashed right in there as well. And basically, some of these saddles were unusable. And then it just turned into, why don't we just get all new saddles? Because, believe it or not, the price difference was basically not even negligible. It was more or less the same price to order one saddle or a handful of saddles as it was to order a full new set of saddles for this Floyd Rose special here. So just at the action, yeah, and you can see the string height is way better right now. And even when I cranked the action down with this thing, with all the mismatched saddles and everything, the strings are just still all out of whack and everything. So that is a crucial thing that you need to make sure of, that your strings are at the proper height and the saddles are in the proper location for a Floyd Rose. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for a Floyd Rose. Very simple stuff. The electronics are working, no noise or anything. Fretboard's all dialed in, the frets are clean, brand new strings, and yeah, this thing is absolutely insane. Feels really great too, just from holding it in my hands. So let's plug it into my computer. Let's see how it sounds. Alright, and that kind of does it for today's video with restoring this Jackson 7-string here, getting it back to its actual glory and getting it into an actual playing state. Just as a quick reminder, what you saw were a few tips of what you could do to get your backup guitar playing just as great as your main guitar. And you never know when you're going to need your backup guitar more than ever, especially in a pinch, and you go to play it and maybe it's not as great as you last remember. So always keep your backup guitar playing and feeling and sounding just as great as your main guitar, and you're going to be a very happy guitar player. All the applicable links are in the description below. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you learned something from this, let me know in the comments below of what you learned from this. I love sharing my knowledge with you guys, especially with guitar maintenance and guitar repairs. You know, that's kind of my bread and butter, more or less, when it's not dime bag related. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job and that you like the things that I make for you. With all that being said, thanks for checking out this video, and I will see you in the next one.